question I'm asked pretty commonly when I'm running the range at work is what's more accurate, a revolver or a semi-automatic? And I'm asked that question enough that I figured I would do a quick little video to kind of discuss it briefly and even do a demonstration to try to make the point that I always make to the students that are coming through my range. Our officers that we qualify are allowed to carry either revolvers or a semi-automatic depending on their post, and it's kind of their preference if they're supplying their own weapon or what they want to get issued, which ones they're going to carry. And typically the ones that don't have a lot of experience with one or the other will say, well, which one do you feel like is more accurate? And I can talk about how most semi-automatic weapons, the barrel moves as the slide cycles, and then with your revolvers the barrel's in place, but then you have a difference in a double action trigger pull depending on the type of firearm, be it a semi-automatic or a revolver, which can make a difference. It gives you more time, more distance, length of travel to make a mistake. But really the answer I try to get them to buy into is it's the shooter that makes the difference in accuracy. Now, some people are going to shoot different models of semi-automatic better than they shoot others. Some people are going to shoot a revolver better. It depends on what they've either used to, what they've got more trigger time on, and just what works better with the way they're approaching sight picture and alignment, and most importantly trigger pull. I find it easier to shoot tight groups with a semi-automatic because the length of pull and the poundage is typically lighter, and the length of pull is shorter on a semi-automatic trigger pull than it is on a revolver. Of course, then if you go to single action on a revolver, you can kind of negate some of that, but there's also an extra step. You have to cock the hammer with your thumb. So what I'm going to do basically here is I'm going to make the argument that sight picture, sight alignment, and trigger control is where accuracy comes from. Now, we can talk about range accuracy versus combat accuracy, and a lot of that it has to do with how quickly you can maintain combat accuracy, how many rounds can you get down range and maintain combat accuracy. But just for the sole intent and purpose, which seems to be the idea behind the question I'm asked, is just fundamentally which one's more accurate. So what I have here is a Smith Wesson Model 10 with a 4-inch barrel. It's a 38, and I'm running zero factory reloads, 38 plus P's in it, and then I have a 40 Smith & Wesson with 180 grain full metal jacket factory reloads as well. So neither one of these, the rounds we're shooting in these are practice rounds. They're not intended to be match rounds or even combat carry rounds, but I just want to demonstrate that it's sight picture, alignment, and trigger control is where accuracy comes from. The differences between the two platforms in general, okay, are negligible. It's you that makes the difference in accuracy no matter what weapon platform you're using. What I've got out there at 7 yards is just two 1-inch square stickers on an FBIQ target, and I'm just going to shoot 6 rounds from the 38 at the left sticker and 6 rounds from the 40 at the right sticker, and we'll bring the target back and kind of talk about what happens. I'm going to shoot these double action out of the revolver. Okay, we'll just leave that there for now. I can tell right here it's not a great group for me, and partly that's due to double action trigger pull. It's a longer length of pull, and it's also the sights. They're milled sights, so it's hard to get a precise shot. But that's fairly, that's definitely would be combat accurate, but we wouldn't be shooting that slow. And I'm going to shoot the same 6 rounds out of the 40, and let's bring the target back and talk about what we see. those are combat accurate groups. I mean, we're not trying to shoot one MOA. This is not the best the weapon can do by any means. It's not the best I can do. It's just to prove a point that in a 1 second, one trigger pull type scenario, accuracy really has nothing to do with the platform. I mean, this weapon is the Barney Fife weapon of yesteryear, and this is representative of what a modern polymer framed handgun is all about, and the groups there are negligible. So I hope that kind of illustrates for you that accuracy really is down to the shooter. Sure, the weapon itself, it plays a role. I mean, if your sights are misaligned, or if your barrel's bent, or you have some pitting or corrosion that's affecting accuracy, obviously those things can come into play. But ultimately, accuracy is the responsibility of the shooter, and you get that out of sight, picture, and alignment. So those are just some quick shots to kind of illustrate. What I'm going to do here is, you see, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left in those 38, so we'll shoot 2 5-round groups, and just see, paying a little bit more attention. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what kind of group we can get if we're really trying our best to shoot an accurate group. So I'm going to put 2 more stickers. We'll stick to the left for the 38, right for the 40, run it back out to 7 yards, and let's just try our best this time to get an accurate group. Really focus on sight, picture, and alignment. Got to get an idea sort of here where point of aim, point of impact is. And since this time we're going to try to get as much accuracy as possible, what I'm going to do with this revolver is, instead of going double action, I'm going to cock the hammer with my thumb and go single action. And let's see if that makes a difference on the revolver side. Okay. I think point of impact, point of aim is a little high on this revolver, but it is 14 million years old. So you can see the group. I mean, the accuracy is a little better when we take that double action trigger pull out of it. Okay, and all we're doing really with that is we're making one variable of the 3 most important variables. You got sight picture, sight alignment, and trigger control. Sight picture and sight alignment sight alignment and sight picture is really all on my mechanics, okay? And trigger pull is too, but we can eliminate some of the potential for mistake by lightening and shortening that trigger pull by going from double action to single action. Now, there's nothing I can do to adjust the trigger pull on this semi other than to try to pay a little bit more attention to it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to load 5 more rounds of 40. And let's just see, paying close attention to trigger control, try to eliminate some of the mechanical mistakes, get a proper grip, and let's get 5 more rounds out of the 40. Okay. You can see that both groups got smaller. It's debatable which group is the better out of the 2. The second relay on both sides. Being that this is a 40 and the holes are going to be a little larger just because of the size of the projectile, I venture to say that this is the best group out of the 4. It's definitely better than both of the top, and this is better than both the top. But this is just paying a little bit better attention to the variable where it's the easiest to make a mistake. Sight picture and alignment is what it is. Sight alignment is making sure that your front sight is centered in the rear sight and level across the top. And sight picture is making sure that you've got 3 different distances. You've got a target, you've got a front sight and a rear sight. All sight picture is making sure that you're focused on that middle distance, that front sight, and aiming at sort of a blurry target in the background. Your rear sights are a little blurry because they're closer than what you're focused on, and that keeps you from sort of shooting a circle around what you're aiming at. I wouldn't let the fact that this is off the sticker and this is on the sticker really make a difference in perspective of accuracy. This has more to do with the point of impact, point of aim for both the relative sights. If I push this sight a little further out, a little further in, you know, this will adjust, but the group is really what's important. And in either one of these, really any of the four, especially if we're talking combat, but in qualifying, I mean, we're aiming at a 1-inch sticker, an FBIQ target. You know, what I'm asking my students to shoot at is center mass here. So, you know, any one of these groups is going to be a perfect score if that's duplicated throughout all distances. And I guess all this is here to say that really sight picture and sight alignment and trigger control are where accuracy comes from. Platform, to some degree, is irrelevant. Any of your modern firearms, and this would still be counted as a modern firearm, it's not a flintlock pirate pistol. Okay, any modern firearm is going to be capable of shooting a qualification accurate group of fire, and most likely a combat accurate group of fire, but you have to do sight picture, sight alignment, trigger control.